Hey guys, and welcome to this video. This video is not going to be as much of as a guide as it's just going to be a commentary over killing some of the warrior akhs that you would normally find in Suffering Slayer Dungeon, but I put them in a large room in the Sunken Pyramid to test out AoE sort of killing them. So with that said, that this is quite the amazing experience in our method if you're after that. However, it's pretty involved in terms of it's not really one that you can just kind of at this point AFK. With all of that said, I really want to try these out in a small room in the Sunken Pyramid at some point, and I don't want to do a proper guide on them until I've got an account that's got them in the small room in the Sunken Pyramid. This will be a lot better for AFK. You might be able to just stand in a corner with an aggression potion and with a good revolution bar and be able to AFK over 1 million Slayer experience an hour for the Soul of Iris task, which in itself has a pretty high weighting to it, so you'd be able to just do this task again and again and again quite numerous times. Another good thing with the task as well is that it does take a decent length of time. I see the video duration right now, this is the entire task length, so it's not like one of those Missile Demon tasks that makes it only take like 4 minutes to do the entire task. You kind of go into like monk math territory when you start talking about XP and hour rates, but you don't sort of factor in how short the task is. You're going to and from the bank, all of that sort of stuff. And just in order to just get to the task in the first place, you might be looking at near enough the same duration as doing the entire task. So with all of that said, I'm just going to kind of jump into it. I'm going to start rolling the video. Hopefully you can see the setup though. I just wanted to pause and show the setup, which is I have 3 pieces of the trimmed masterwork equipment. It is augmented and it's also custom fitted. Custom fitted just affects the degrade mechanic, but the most notable thing is that this is tier 92 melee power armor that has a passive with each piece worn minimum of 3, so for this setup it would be 30%, so 30% of any damage that you take, should it be able to be decreased with defensive abilities, it would instead be dealt over the next few seconds. For instance, if you got dealt at 10k, instead of getting dealt 10k with 3 pieces, you would only get dealt at 7k, and then 3k damage would be dealt to you in terms of tightless hits over the next few seconds. That is quite beneficial for this particular instance because the enemies can use abilities such as Hurricane, which can deal a lot of damage in a very small space of time, times out the fact that you could have more on you at once, and the passive effect of the armor is pretty remarkable there. And you may also be noting the Ring of Death. Brings me nicely on to the next point. This is not the first time I've tried this task. I've had quite a few attempts and they have all ended with death, quite frankly. It's a very difficult task to survive at, and don't go down there expecting to sort of have a brilliant time for your first time doing the task. The other thing you might be noting there is the armor spikes. That's the blue item, stackable item that's in the ammo slot. That recoils damage when you get hit, should you be using melee, and should you be getting hit from an adjacent tile. So it won't work from like halberd distance, it won't work on things like moss golems now. You also have to be wearing a melee top and melee legs for it to work, which is quite inconvenient. But the recoil damage isn't that high. At 99 smithing is going to be 99 damage that you're going to recoil. It's going to be more if you wear a defender or a shield. But the most notable thing with the recoil damage is that it can proc, if you will, or inflict poison should you be able to poison your target and you're using something that can poison your target. So in this video I'm using weapon poison, I'm using cinder veins. That means that every one of those recoiled hits has a chance to inflict poison, and that poison can deal quite a lot of damage. It's quite great for DPS, not just for those individual 99 recoil hits, but actually for the chance of inflicting poison as well. The aura that I'm using is the Ancestor Spirits aura, and that's the best aura that you could possibly use in this case as well. So again, I am using an aura for this. It's the Ancestor Spirits aura, so if you do have access to it, it's one of the best places that you could ever use this aura at. But if you don't, then there's not really many other good alternatives. The Vampirism aura is very good, so if you are struggling, then I definitely consider using the Vampirism aura. The general idea is just to stand in the middle of the room, do not move off this tile because you could walk a bleed, which can deal a lot of damage to you, and just spam out your AoE abilities. So cleave, Hurricane, Quake. Flurry is very good. Just make sure you throw up some sort of stun ability before, so like an anticipate or a freedom, so that you don't get like Flurry cancelled. And also try and activate Flurry on an enemy that has relatively high HP, so it doesn't sort of stop halfway through if you kill the enemy. The other notable ability, should you have access to it, is the Bladed Dive ability. When used on an enemy, it deals AoE damage, very similar to like it's pretty similar to like a weak, it's like a weak Quake. Doesn't know the Quake passive, I don't know why I said Quake, but you get the idea. It deals a hit around your character. It's particularly good because any AoE in this situation is beneficial. Also have the Aftershock perk on. It's kind of it's a great perk in normal cases, but I mean when it's able to hit so many targets at once, it's pretty remarkable. And you may want to just keep an eye on how quickly that Aftershock is going off. The AoE damage is ridiculous, and yeah, you can build up those Aftershock stacks pretty quickly in an instance like this. I do not use the Berserk ability here. You could use it. With an Adrenaline Potion you could definitely use it. If you do not have an Adrenaline Potion, then Berserk would likely decrease your DPS in an AoE situation, because it's all about the AoE DPS, and most of your melee AoE abilities are threshold abilities, and so the more you Berserk, the more those thresholds are on cooldown, and for sure they would deal more damage next time you activate them, should you be able to activate them in your Berserk, but it's better just to be keeping and spamming out those AoEs as consistently as possible, because yeah, my health bar pretty much sits at this throughout the entire task, and it's yeah, Berserk as well. Yeah, we also all know of the other effect of Berserk in that you take 50% extra damage. If there's a few of them around you and you have it, if you have access to it, then the aggression sigil is quite nice, although if you're actually after XP, then you're probably better off using the Sigil of Slaying if you have access to that. And it's quite a bit cheaper as well. The Aggression Sigil, should you be activating it every 20 seconds, which is what its cooldown is, it would cost you about 1,000,000 GP an hour for the Anima, should you be buying the Anima off of the GE. I don't tend to use it because it's actually kind of weak, but I do have the Superior Scrimshaw of Vampirism equipped. I don't tend to use the Superior Scrimshaw of Vampirism. I think it's a bit of a waste of the Ancient Bones in a lot of cases, because it has the same maximum life point cap as the inferior one, meaning that for a lot of hits you will actually be getting healed the same as if you're just using the inferior Scrimshaw of Vampirism. Let me just reiterate, so like if you were to hit a 5k versus a 7k, you would get the same heal no matter if you were using the superior or the inferior, due to a life point cap which is the same on both scrimshaws. The only difference is that you need essentially less damage needed to meet that life point cap for the superior one. You're still going to be better off with the superior one, and because of the difficulty in the task, I thought I need every aid possible, and that's why I'm using it on this task. The other items in my inventory, you also note that I have a charm stack at the bottom right of the corner of the inventory. I have some crimson charms, and unfortunately I only have one blue charm because I accidentally forgot to enable my charm menu to pick up blue charms, so that's a bit of a shame. So I think that's actually quite a good task if you're after some charms. The ZGS, Zara's God Sword, in the inventory, I actually didn't use that throughout the entire task bar, and a couple of times where I accidentally equipped it when I was wanting to get in auto attack, but don't worry about that. I just need to scythe throughout for a couple of reasons. The main reason was that well, sometimes it will tag another enemy, but I also want to show this task as, not everyone has access to the ZGS or whatever, and there's really not that much in there, so you don't get that much of an upgrade to the ZGS. The real creme de la creme of the ZGS is with the special attack in particular instances. It's pretty nice. I don't think it's worth the adrenaline here, however, the most notable thing with the ZGS is that you do get the damage increase, but you don't get you don't have an increased amount of damage that you take, unlike Berserk. But it's pretty weak, and as I said before, it's all about your AoE abilities, your AoE thresholds, and you need to really always be at the 50% mark for the AoEs, for the threshold AoEs. That's the most notable thing. You just want to constantly be spamming those out. And even if it was only for 2 or 3 seconds that you were below 50% with a ZGS spec in a situation like this, that could cost you, because yeah, with loads of them on you at once, they could quite quickly whittle down your health, and if you have nothing to, no nice abilities to bump it up quickly, then yeah, you're in a bit of a bad place. The Excalibur I kind of just use as soon as it comes off cooldown. You'll note my health, it's always kind of tanking, so yeah, just spam that out in every accord. I use the Vigor switch as well as an Adren pot. I think I only used it maybe a couple of times a day, but to be safe, only use Meteor Strike when you have an adrenaline potion available. Otherwise, for the before reasons, your thresholds will be just sat there waiting, and you won't have the adrenaline to activate them. I have the Feathers of Ma'at in there, as well as some of the items below the feathers, and those are the Vital Spark drop enhancers. They increase the base drop rate of the Vital Spark by 1. So if you're unaware, every single mob in the Softening Slayer dungeon drops Vital Sparks. To start off with, they only drop 1 at a time. If you're on a Slayer task, it goes up to 2, or if you had a Vital Spark drop enhancer, it would go up to 2. If you're on both Slayer task and you have a Vital Spark drop enhancers, then those Vital Sparks will now go up to 3. If you're looting without the chest, so if the chest is disabled, or if you're killing them in the sunken pyramid, like I am doing here, where there isn't an option to send the loot to a chest. It doesn't work. It doesn't get sent to the chest in the Softening Slayer dungeon, but it still has the 20% chance to duplicate an item on the ground, which is quite nice. If that duplication activates on a Vital Spark drop, then you'll instead get 6 Vital Sparks, so it'll just double it. That's 6 if you're on task with Vital Spark drop enhancers. So yeah, I would definitely use Vital Spark drop enhancers should you have the dungeon tokens to purchase them. So it really does increase the profit quite a bit. I think that's the only drop, those and a few Onyx Bolt tips that I could be bothered to pick up. It's not that efficient. I prefer to pick up all the drops, but even with me just focusing purely on spamming out the correct abilities at the correct time, I'm struggling enough as it is, and I'm trying to juggle some inventory as well. I just thought I'd just try and pass up on that right now. Something else that isn't optimal that I completely messed up on is I only used Holy Overloads for this. I would definitely prefer to use the Supreme Overloads here. For the increased defense, honestly, I think you're pretty much 100% accurate when you're on task. Yeah, it's not so much for the accuracy that I'd be bothered about, but the increase in the defense level would be pretty nice. Those ghost looking things, by the way, those are the Ancestor Spirits. The damage they deal, I believe, scales in prayer level. But yeah, it's really remarkable. They can hit quite high. I think they can hit like they can hit over a 1k. And yeah, it really does add up in damage. It's particularly good in. You could just have a look at them at times. It's just constantly just whacking your opponents for like 1ks, and that it's pretty remarkable, honestly. And another thing you might want to keep your eyes peeled for is just the poison splats. There's just so many of them. As I said, the reflect damage from the armor spikes it's particularly powerful when when you're able to poison your opponent. Anyway, with all of that said, the last thing I'll note is that these souls are pretty awkward to get, so good luck.